Hey yo, this will be a review of the Oboz Missoula for men. They make one for women. It's the same deal, just different colors. And this color you're looking at won't be available anymore, I don't think, unless you find it on clearance somewhere. But this is the 2012 version. 2013 is like a kind of olive with green or kind of a brown, rusty earth tone color, I believe. So style number 80101. Price point is 120 bucks. Suggested retail. You can maybe find it for, like this color you could maybe find for like 60 bucks if you get lucky. But they're maybe 100 bucks. $100, excuse me, at the cheapest. But got a couple talking points here. Philosophy I use with this video, or for this shoe, sorry, is pretty much strictly everyday shoe. Maybe extreme sport like BMX or skateboarding, but I'll talk about why it may not be the greatest for that. So just the overall construction of the shoe. First off, it is a nubuck leather with suede leather incorporated as well. This all here up top, around here, pretty much all the places that need to be somewhat structuring for the shoe, or at least aesthetically structuring, is nubuck, and then all of the darker here, that's all suede. So all the things that need to be a little softer. Some people might complain about stuff being stiff around the ankles maybe, so Oboz definitely takes care of that by having real malleable, fabrics and leathers that will give if you're fighting them in any way. As I can demonstrate here with this one. I've had these for about a year. By no means am I wearing them every single day, but I have a lot of different shoes that I'll wear, so this is, I guess you can maybe say, like half a year's worth of everyday use. It is kind of my primary everyday shoe, but I definitely switch on and off. But you can just see from the laces all the indents. This had nothing, no indent or anything before I started wearing it. So you can pretty much see how it is in my when my foot's in there the whole time. So this is definitely a very nice shoe that will last you a while, just based on the construction of it. It seems like it's gonna take a little bit to break in, and once it's broken in, it'll still have plenty of life left for you to wear it very comfortably. So with all that being said, it does have some nylon, some non-stretch or stretching fabrics over time. And one thing that kind of bummed me out when I saw these is that they're totally stitched down. While they do function, properly, I guess you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but if I run my finger along the back here, I can definitely feel where the suede has stretched from my foot being there, but then where the nylon band has kind of reinforced it and made it so that it wouldn't, if I wanted to tighten it down really hard with the laces, it wouldn't ever, just get mushy or be unable to secure your foot, in theory. The design and the angles and everything will play a role in that, but in securing your foot, that is. But I don't think it would make a difference if these just weren't stitched down. Maybe you might have to bring, not even, if it just wasn't stitched. It would be way cooler because you would, even though it may not function any different, you would think that you have a little more of a mechanically working shoe. I don't know. I guess maybe they've tried it and it didn't work, or they're worried about stuff catching it, but I don't think that would be a problem. I think it would be more just cool to have a little pulley system going through your shoe, which they use on their other shoes, so yeah. Who knows? The midsole, talking the cushioning aspect of the shoe and the stiffening aspect here. It's a compression molded EVA midsole, so all the foam here is EVA foam. On their website it just says compression molded EVA with a nylon shank, and then if you go into the Outsole tech part of their website where they talk about the actual rubber here and the tread pattern, they talk about the midsole as well, and they say that it's a dual density. I'm not sure. I can't really feel a difference in the where two different densities might be. If I had to guess, it's probably like a higher density here, low density up here, maybe. Those colors, the yellow and blue, that's just painted on. So I don't think that's like a different colored foam in there. It might be, but I don't think so. It looks like it's just kind of, those are aesthetic colors painted in there. But I think it's a little chunky. I might be spoiled from their other shoe, the Arete, which it has a much more complicated midsole, asymmetric in sorts, whereas this is very symmetrical left to right. So I'm not sure if my foot's just spoiled from that, and this one feels kind of mushier and just thicker overall, but it very much might be just that it is thicker. One big difference between this and the Arete is that the Arete's board lasted. This one is just strobo lasted, so they make the top of the shoe and then they stitch a bunch of fabric to the bottom of it that you're looking at there, and then they make all this separate, and then they would glue the two together. Whereas board lasting, it's the shoe and then that's made with a board as the bottom, and then you put this on. So the difference is that here you've got a definitive point where that nylon shank stops, where from here forwards you're going to receive much more response from rocks or sharp things that you might step on, including better cushioning for your forefoot, because the board, or the nylon shank, sorry, is right on the other side of this fabric. So here it's considerably harder than up here. So that's not really important, because, well, I guess it is, but I don't know, it doesn't make a huge difference to most people. So the outsole then, let me use this one because the other one seems to be way dirtier. I was reading a little something and people were saying that this had a shallow outsole, or shallow lugs. I would disagree for the use that this shoe will get, or should be used for. I think this has plenty of tread wear, or tread durability, and traction and slip resistance. It's actually, I think, a very, very adequate outsole for almost anything that you would encounter in your everyday suburban type life. If you are hiking or something throughout your day, if you live close to some trails, I wouldn't entirely recommend this shoe. Not that this wouldn't provide substantial traction and slip resistance and all that, but just the overall fit of the shoe, it's very casual. You're not going to want to tighten the laces very hard because it won't be comfortable as much on top of your foot as a shoe designed for that would be. So keep that in mind. The laces, they stop way up here. They provide a nice big toe box, and this is very much comfort oriented. When you're standing on your feet all day, you don't want to, you just don't want your foot to be in a hockey skate. You want it to be able to just do what it needs to do. As long as it doesn't need to fit super secure in the shoe. So the outsole, it's a carbon rubber, and I found that their rubber is outrageously sticky. They use, I don't know if many other brands use carbon rubber, but that means that there's a lot of carbon black, like particulate, in the rubber itself that not only gives it the black color, but it when you're wearing it, it's not just rubber, it's actual carbon particles that are going to be a little grippier, and they're going to wear harder, so the tread will last longer because of that. And I found this to be adequate in almost any situation. You can see here and there, these are my primary shoes that I ride BMX in, and it's definitely taken some beating from the pins of the pedal. Not overly scared about that because that happens with every single shoe. But what I am a little concerned about is how big the spaces are here. While that is a nice looking outsole for most things, when you're trying to get grip from a BMX pedal, the pins will definitely fall in between here and it will create like a little bit of mushiness on the pedal. So I found that maybe if it were just more of this, you know, they definitely compensated, assuming that you'd be putting more pressure here, so there's a little bit of siping, a little bit more slip resistance incorporated there, meaning I guess it would have less big gaps. So here they're definitely thinking of you standing on a skateboard or standing on, you know, just anything, stairs or what it could be. The high wear areas are definitely a little more grippy, but even then I think if you just eliminated this line, these lines here, it would at least provide better traction on a bicycle pedal. Whether that is really what matters at all, probably not, because I still use it and it works great for that. You just got to be a little aware, at least with my pedal too. It seems to have a little bit of mush wherever I seem to step. What else? Yeah, otherwise it's definitely very grippy. Never gonna slip on much of anything unless it's snow or ice. The fit of the shoe itself is pretty good. It wasn't fantastic right out of the box. Like I was saying before, the leather and things need time to adapt to your foot shape. You can see here with the tongue again, it has definitely done that. Keep in mind this is maybe like half a year's worth of wear. The heel, I feel like it would fit a smaller volume heel better. I feel like I have kind of a mid-volume to high-volume heel, and my foot seems to want to sit further forwards than it should in the shoe. Not a big problem because while tightening the shoe, my heel doesn't really slip that much. It does not have the same cupping effect as most of Oboz shoes do. So I want that to be a known fact. This is very much a casually, you know, fit shoe. So pretty much the person who may not lace it tight at all, they may not unlace it or lace it back up when they're putting it on and off, they'll just kind of take their foot in and out. It would promote that. Not that that's what I do, but if they're trying to correct the fit, maybe take some padding out of here. That way it won't be as mushy. And like it is, down here there's barely any padding, way down towards the bottom. But the padding starts maybe 1.5 inches up from the very bottom. And this is without an insole in it, so once the insole is in, there's pretty much no space where there's no padding. So maybe if there was just no padding at all, I think it would work a little better. And if someone's wearing the right sock, it will be equally as comfortable. One other thing with the fit of this shoe is that it's easy to over tighten this eyelet here. All these other ones don't seem to be a problem. Whenever you tighten harder, it's relieving the pressure over this whole amount of fabric. Same deal goes for up here. It's all just gonna ease the pressure over this whole area. Once you get to here, however, this is right at the ball of your foot too. This panel seems to be placed so that, you know, if you were to have a horrible bunion, this would kind of be the panel that would push out if it needed to. But if you were to tighten here, you can see that it's stitched right here, and I feel like what that does is it creates like a sandwiching effect. Instead of pulling the fabric over your foot, it is trying to just tighten over your fur. I can't think of the word. It's just trying to sandwich your foot in between the laces as opposed to wrapping fabric over your foot. So I think if maybe a combination of that stitch getting removed to allow for, I don't know, I guess it would still function fine. But I guess maybe if you move this, had the eyelets closer together up here, it would allow for a longer chunk of fabric, maybe being a little more comfortable. But again, not even necessary. I feel like the aesthetics are more of an important aspect of this shoe, which they definitely have. I think they look pretty sweet. But I don't know, if this were a little more tapered to wrap around the foot a little more comfortably, you might see a better distribution of the pressure here. Not a big deal. I have kind of a medium, let's say a D width foot, maybe a little more. So maybe I'm pushing the width of this shoe a little bit. I don't really think so. I'm not pushing over the edge of the midsole itself, but I have found that if I tighten this shoe down hard, I have to be conscious that I don't over tighten this particular eyelet. Durability, I think, is fantastic. You could wear this shoe for years, I feel, as long as nothing serious happens to it, as long as you're not, skateboarding every day in it or riding your bike every day. If it's just a walking shoe, while it may not be as cushioning as every walking shoe could be, or as technically designed in the midsole area, I feel like it's stylish and it's very much durable. Just a little chunky, but some people are into that. By the way, on the Brannick device, that metal thing that you size your foot on, my foot, if I'm totally all weight on my foot and my foot's maximally elongated, I'm a little bit over the 14 mark for men, and these are a 14. I feel that Oboz does an awesome job of overcompensating for the size of a shoe, because they know that most of the time people don't anticipate their foot elongating, or even they don't size their shoe regularly, so over time their foot elongates and they don't realize it, and they think they're stopped growing, but they don't understand that their foot length will change. And Oboz kind of adds a little bit more. So if you're right at the line on that Brannick device, chances are that would still be your size in Oboz. So yeah, check it out. It's a sweet shoe. Oh yeah, by the way, it comes with, you can see I have Superfoot in there right now. Highly recommended. Insole, anytime you're putting weight on your feet, in other words, standing, walking, running, something like this should be under your foot at all times. This is what comes in Oboz shoes. It's not far off. It doesn't look much different from a regular stock insole, but you can see this line here. That's the borderline between this foam and this resin. So right here, this is actually a pretty stiff molded resin, very well articulated to fit the foot shape. You've got EVA inserts, very low density foam here and here. So right out of the box, this is a really comfortable insole to have under your foot. Provides tons of stability, prevents maximal pronation in most cases. So if you don't want to spend an extra $40 to get something like this in your shoe, even though you know it's the right thing, buy an Oboz pair of shoes and you won't have to worry about it for a while. Cool. Peace out. Thanks for listening.